Okay, good morning, everybody. It is Monday, and we are circling back to this deck, which is the Rakdos, Grief, Fury, Undying Malice, Feign Death strategy, splashing blue for Ledger Shredder, Drown Loch, Expressive Iteration, and a few sideboard cards. I was really liking this deck last Monday. I feel like this is a good point in time to circle back to this deck. With Dominaria United releasing Wednesday night, but really Thursday morning. Some longer streams with the new cards, but it's all still a little up in the air, I guess, and I guess I'll have more updates as I get them. It's going to be so good if it was a 7-card hand. It is a 6-card hand. I think we're obviously going to have to leave Malakir, Rebirth, Grief, Kroxa, and so we have to decide, do we want Ledger Shredder or do we want Expressive Iteration? I feel like it has to be the Iteration here on the mulligan on the play, so we'll put back the Shredder. I think I'm going to get a basic Swamp. I can go Swamp Stevens, right? Oh, no, I can't because of the Iteration, so I need to go, I guess we'll go Blood Crypt. Smith to the 13, Richard down to the 7, thank you. And good morning to everybody. Pretty good opening hand. Yeah, I'm still not sure that this is the best way to build this archetype, but I've been liking it a lot, and maybe this is the kind of strategy where everybody's got their own little personal preference, Okay, Breeding Pool, Floodstone, Tarn, Dress Down. So they're not Rhinos because they have Dress Down, Expressive Iteration. I think I'll take Expressive Iteration and Dress Down though. And if they want to draw a red card and then Fury my Grief and be out of action, I think that's fine. How'd the RCQ over the weekend? Not that well. I started off 2-0. And then I lost a pretty tough game to Merfolk, where my opponent just had, the zero mana subtlety or Force of Negation, 3 or 4 times in games 1 and 2. It was rough. Into me stumbling against Burn and dying. Bulvers with 11 months, thank you. You see Spike. Ephemerate works well with Ledger Shredder because of the rebound. I mean, there's some small synergy, but it's also, I would say small. I think it'd be tough to splash a 4th color in this deck, but yeah. Yeah, Merfolk, the Merfolk player has been a long time pilot of the strategy, actually. We've battled several times before. Very talented Merfolk wizard. Okay, drawing lands. So hopefully draw some spells off this iteration. Another iteration, I guess, is fine. I was kind of hoping to hit a Ragavan or Channeler to also play this turn. This is fine, though. Get your qualification, ban Coco, and Canada, it's only the top 4 to finish. Yeah, sounds pretty nice, huh? How do you go about deciding priority for which decks to try first after new set releases? So what I usually do is I get a bunch of lists together, and then card availability on Magic Online, those on Thursday and even Friday is leaves a lot to be desired, and so for the most part it's just kind of whatever you can get. Whatever you can get is what you have to do. Okay, so they Fury, pitch Fury, that's fine. And then after that, it's just it's kind of a priority of whatever I'm interested in, modified by what I can actually get. Okay, I might end up using Dragon Regis Channeler, so I'm going to hold the Mishra's Bauble for now. Would hate for this to get countered. Okay, thankfully it doesn't. Okay, we'll go hand Fury, bottom, exile Bauble. The Fury can clean up the Ice Fang next turn. We can hardcast it. Yeah, it was Sherwin. Of course it was Sherwin. This deck is more or less the same as Grixis Shadow list. I would say it's not more or less the same as Grixis Shadow. It is a Grixis deck, so it's playing a lot of the same cards, but it is maybe a combination of that deck and the Rakdos Fury Grief decks that you see. Where I spawned 9 months, thank you. I ordered Asmo Trash. Awesome, awesome. I may have to fit Stoneforge we should give her a place in the vial. Good luck, good luck. Is there a free-to-play guide for Moto? I know that Gabby Sparts... Ooh, Narset? What is happening? Had a pretty good guide for like getting into Magic Online back in the day. I don't know... I haven't like watched it a long time. I don't know how like well it holds up, but... I've been kind of thinking about making something similar. Okay, well, let's with them having Narset, I'm gonna want to use my bubble now because conniving into the Narset can be kind of dicey. Yeah, I imagine if they're main decking Narset, they have Days Undoing. I mean, people just love that combo. You know what I mean? They're just obsessed. Any chance we'll be seeing Jen Saga Soul of One Grace? Yeah, that's pretty high on the list. I don't have any subtlety on top. So if their one mystery card is a blue card, or if they find a blue card off of their Narset, we're in some bad shape. Although it looks like they're just gonna hold up the subtlety here. So let's see what we draw. Feign Death. I kind of feel like... Oh wait, hold on. They shuffled the Narset. Sorry, I just noticed. Their hand is just the subtlety. Okay, then we can just pass them. Marty's Bombardment, deck tech. So I've been preferring like the Rakdos Fury Grief Sacrifice deck that I've been playing as like the best Goblin Bombardment deck I've ever built. I've played plenty of Zombie Bombardment, and I feel like one of the biggest issues with these versions is it always feels like you are having to sacrifice a degree of card quality to play cards like Gravecrawler, Carrion Feeder, Stitcher Supplier over cards like Ragavan. Hold on. Yeah, so I think what I'm going to do next, I'm going to take the hit, and then I'm going to go Ledger Shredder, let it get subtletied, and then go Fury Pitch on Unholy Heat, Feign Death the Fury. That was my plan. I will also say this, if you're going to play Gravecrawler, and you're going to, or I don't know, like if you're going to be in on the zombie synergies, I don't understand also playing, I don't know, there's so much going on with this list. It kind of feels like it's all over the place. I think Obnixilis is like just not very good in general. I think that I would much rather play Mayhem Devil if I was looking for a 3-mana payoff type card in my... I guess I could also just hardcast the Fury. I would have to shock though. But then I would keep Feign Death and Holy Heat in my hand. That's pretty good. And probably not a huge difference between being at 4 and being at 7. That's probably correct. I don't know, the list is all over the place. I think that like you can commit to being a more mid-rangey Mardu version where you have a higher card quality and you don't play Stitcher Supplier. I guess Supplier's okay in this version because you have the Lingering Souls and you have 12 or 14 total good cards to mill over. I don't know, it's tough. It's a very unique take. I hate Obnixilis. You should play Mayhem Devil instead. I would play the 4th Mayhem Devil before the first copy of Lingering Souls. I think I would probably just play 1 Kroxa also. I'm not... Oh, if they have Lightning Bolt, I'm dead. That is the difference between being at 3 and 4. Dude, they had the Lightning Bolt. They had the Lightning Bolt. But somehow, I am not dead. Let's go. Alright, graveyard that. 18 lands, by the way. Yeah, I saw Jessie got the RCQ qualification. Good job to her. Yeah, don't like Ob. This is maybe a fun way to build it. The more I'm looking at it, I kind of initially saw the zombie version and kind of reacted because I haven't been as big a fan of being in on the zombie synergies in this archetype for a long time. But maybe it's better than the fact that just on Carrion Feeder Gravecrawler Supplier makes some sense to me. Okay, they activate Narset and they don't find anything off Narset. That's big for us. That's on an interesting brew. Did I see Scam won the challenge? Yeah, I saw that it was Dingo. Oh, another Narset. We'll take that. Great hit. Yeah, the One Night's Whisper is pretty interesting. That's part of the reason why I'm interested in this version. Is the blue splash? It doesn't. Your mana's still really solid with the blue splash, but what you lose is basically just the Okay, you shouldn't be fetching to 5 when I have 5 power. But you lose the ability to Blood Moon people, and I don't know how important that is necessarily. It's not unimportant, but getting access to cards like Expressive Iteration it really compensates for one of the biggest issues that the Rakdos deck is, which is any kind of like real card draw. And having Expressive Iteration is pretty nutty. And seeing people like dipping in for Night's Whisper when this version gets to play Iteration is or part of the reason why I'm so interested in it. So my opponent's on a goofy Teamer deck. David, 6 months, appreciate you. Thank you. Goofy Teamer deck. We play this deck with Shadow instead of DRC. That's interesting. I really like the DRCs, but playing Shadow is also an option for sure. You maybe end up cutting like Shredder Bauble too, but then maybe you'd be Rakdos. I don't know. I think Sideboard looks pretty good. Although you probably need to play. You need to play Prismatic Ending for Sanctifier and Vec if you're gonna splash white. So you need to play like 4 of those. Maybe 4 Prismatic Ending over 4 Walker and still play the like 3 Wear Tears. But that card's just so hard to beat. And if you're already splashing white, you need access to that card. Does the opponent have Escape Shift? I don't think so. I don't know. I think they're playing Brazen Borrower and like main deck Subtlety. I think they're just kind of like a goofy creature deck. I'm gonna go at least down to 1 Heat for 1 Thoughtseize. I think 1 Fury, another Thoughtseize. Maybe one of the Undying effects. Just get the full playset or the full 3 in there and click submit. Oh, awesome! Yeah, I didn't know that you won the RCQ. Congratulations to you. Soulless, the 9 months, take a thank you. Merfolk taking down the RCQ. And yeah, you did draw pretty good against me, huh? Have you already Invasive Surgery Living End? I don't know that I have, at least not with this deck. But it's combination for Living End, Rhinos, creativity. Oh, sorry, my headphones are dead. Okay, click and keep. Raw dogging the stream, catching a cold. It's my allergies. The weather's changing a little bit. Like the pressure in the air is weird. Like it's about to rain, and so I've just been like sneezing all morning. Cruel with the 12 months, appreciate you. But I've been snoring some allergy juice and sneezing a lot. Waterlogged Grove looks also pretty ambitious in their deck. That is, that's not a source of red mana, so I think that playing Ragavan here is fine. Although I guess maybe going Thoughtseize this turn and being able to go Ragavan with Undying Malice up is nice. This is like particularly weak to Rin and 6. Maybe that Veil of Summer. Naz, thank you for the Twitch Prime. Appreciate you. They do have the Veil of Summer. After a few leagues, we get determined that Reflector Mage is nuts in the format and Humans has some game. I do think that Humans is better than people give it credit for. It was definitely a deck I was liking during the trophy race. I will say it has access to a million interesting 3-drops. I was always really partial to Ranger Captain, because it like helped you against Living End, which could be kind of tricky. I think it also helped you get Forge Tinder to combat Furies. But I do think Reflector Mage is very good against Hammer Time and Murktide, which are 2 of the best decks in the format for sure. Yeah, me and Sherwin have battled many times. I've lost many times to the to the Merfolk. Alright, Dead Monkey, 5 cards in opponent's hand. Hopefully we find a 1-mana red or black spell we can play off the Iteration or Bauble. Thoughtseize, Channeler, all good hits here. Although I think we'll be fine just to exile the estimates here. Pass back. Don't quite have Delirium right here. We can get it after we crack the Delta. To finish off that Narset. Opponent grabs a copy of Relic of Progenitus, but thankfully they don't have a land to play it. Although I guess they couldn't pop it anyways. Okay, so let's go hand Ledger Shredder, bottom, exile Malakir Rebirth. Ooh, if I evoke this Fury and they have Subtlety though, it's just so bad. But I mean, I already exiled the Rebirth. I think I have to go for it. Damn it. So now I guess I'm going to shuffle away the Fury, play the Ledger Shredder, play the Bauble, and pop the Bauble now so I draw on their turn. They have a Fury on top. I'm in pretty bad shape though. Especially if they connive, or if they cast 2 spells, I have to discard my Ragavan. Are they Days Undoing? We haven't seen Days Undoing yet, but I have to imagine if you're main decking Narset of Modern, you are playing Days Undoing. I saw your video of yeah, a lot of people were talking about Shadow Prophecy, a card I think I've overlooked from the new set. 2 black, instant domain, look at top X of your library, X is number of basic lands, put 2 with your hand, rest in the graveyard. So if you have domain, that's look at top 5, 2 in hand, rest in graveyard. Obviously good with graveyard synergies. I think this card is one that it does have some potential. And I don't love 3 mana card filtering spells though, I'll say in general, and I don't love ones that make you lose 2 life. I think like if you're like spending 3 mana to not impact the board, also losing 2 life is a pretty big cost. It kind of reminds me of Pieces of the Puzzle to some extent, although being able to grab any card and at instant speed is really nice. So yeah, we'll see. I think you could play that. It's like at least worth looking at for sure. Isn't it just kind of worse than Factor Fiction? It's 1 less mana than Factor Fiction, so it's. I would not say something I would view as just kind of worse. Okay, let's go. Bauble Channeler or Channeler Bauble, then the Shredder Bauble on turn 2. Didn't at least want to take the draw? No. I'm down like 6 cards there or something. I'm just off of it. Just use Painful Truce. I mean, this is an instant. This sees more cards than Painful Truce. It loses you less life. It fills up your graveyard. Yeah, kind of similar to Maestro's Charm. That's a good point. Obviously, more versatile. Charm more versatile. So this Shredder is just dying, but I think I'm jamming it anyways. Maybe they're just on a counterspell or cantrip though. RCQ did not go super well. I ended up getting merfolked to death. Can graveyard that, I think. Then connive. I think we'll connive away the Mire. And then crack the Bauble. Okay, so let's just attack first. Their hand is Relic of Progenitus, Relic of Progenitus, Red and 6 mystery cards. So I feel like, and they showed us Veil of Summer last game. I feel like there's a really good chance we're getting Veil of Summer, and if we cast this Thoughtseize here, we'll just maybe see if they're on counterspell instead. Yeah, and if they're not going to counterspell that, I feel like Veil of Summer is just so likely. Maybe they're on Ice Fang instead, but Ice Fang is fine. Why Grixis Rebrand? I mean, I think it's just kind of like a funny play on the whole scam meta conversation. But I kind of would like these decks to stop being called scam, because people ask, why is it a scam? Why is it a scam? Nonstop, and I agree it's not a super descriptive name, because these decks are actually pretty good. I'm just definitely getting Veil of Summer. So let's see if they pop the Relic here. And then I can go like Iteration into Black Source, Thoughtseize the Red and 6 or something. Maybe get Delirium again if I'm super lucky. Okay, I have to keep a Black Source on top. Would love to graveyard it for Delirium, but I think it's a bit too greedy to do so. Hand, bottom, exile. Can graveyard the Shredder. Graveyard the Heat for Delirium. I think that's fine. Just missing one type now. Pretty easy Red and 6 of this hand, actually. Their hand is so weird. They did have the Veil of Summers, by the way. Feel good about playing around those. So how do you want to do this? I think just jamming Iteration is fine. If they're casting Counterspell here, we get to resolve the Thoughtseize. Just gonna graveyard really aggressively here for Delirium. There we go. Yeah, I don't want to keep that on top, because if they counter the Iteration, I guess I could have kept it on top, because if they counter the Iteration, then I'm just hold on. Let's go hand, bottom, exile. Keep up the Rebirth as a combat trick. But yeah, if they counter the Iteration, I can just cast a Thoughtseize, then mill over the Mire. Cycles Veil of Summer. Takes 6, goes to 1 with a Waterlogged Grove in play. Any plans for a Soldier Brew? Yeah, I think someone did a deck tech for Preeminent Captain, Soldiers, and Pioneer. I think that it probably is probably not a deck that has a ton of potential, but it's interesting. It's something I may look a little bit more closely at. I'm definitely a little bit more focused on Modern at the moment too, but I imagine we will be dipping our toes back into Pioneer as well. Okay. And I think they've stopped doing that recently, but I really liked when they were available to buy. So well, it's always weird. It's always a scramble to get a hold of cards early. No, and we'll be scrambling. Is Mono White Hammer worth building? That's a good deck. Worth it is always, up to you, right? Like, are you going to play the deck? Are you going to, what else can you do with your money? But it's a good deck for sure. Okay, probably not close to our best hand versus Amulet, huh? I think we're currently 1-0 against Amulet with this Grixis deck. And I was part of the reason why I'm on Unholy Heat today over the pushes from earlier is for this matchup, where when you're losing Blood Moons, I think you kind of want that extra equity in the form of the premium removal spell against Titan. Kind of a small thing, I guess, but I think it makes sense to me. Okay, I guess we'll go hand, bottom, exile. And then I could just cycle the Undying Malice, but I think holding it for a Fury of Grief next turn is fine. Especially when my opponent is... they're unlikely to Titan me this turn. I could also kill their Construct token. I think I'll probably leave the Construct alive. Should every deck running DRC Bauble play 4 Heat before first Bolt as a rule of thumb? No. I mean, I think rule of thumbs for like these kind of deck building decisions, especially when it comes to talking about your stupid 1-mana removal spell split. I think that these conversations are like you can't have heuristics like this that are like super accurate. Unfortunately, don't have Delirium here. Oh, they choose Cultivator Colossus. That's awesome. So it's just like I think for deck building in Modern, it is so difficult to have any kind of cohesive heuristic that you are living your life by, if that makes sense. Okay, we're so dead. You just have to take so many of your different deck building decisions with grains of salt and make like a kind of every decision individually. I think I'm gonna go down to Shredders, maybe 1, maybe 0, down to like 2 Fury, down on the Undying effects to like. Oh wait, did I accidentally cut? Oh, sorry. Maybe still have 5 of them here. I think 5 is a good number. Let's look at the mana curve. I think Kroxa is cuttable. I think they're likely going to bring in Graveyard Hate against us. I think that without a ton of good answers to Grazer, could also cut a Ragavan. I think trimming 1 is fine. Trimming the Kroxa is fine. Trimming the last Shredder is fine. And then with Shredder being... oh no, I need Bauble for Delirium for Heat. That's like a new dynamic of this version. Fury seems terrible here. Killing Dryad for 0 mana is really good when you get to do it. So I usually like to have access to 1 or 2, but it may actually be the cut. It may actually be the cut. I think maybe I'll go down 1 more Fury, 1 more Undying Effect. David with the 13 months, appreciate you. Why Dauthi? You're hoping to steal a Primeval Titan with it. Let's keep this hand. I'm gonna go Channeler into Channeler Thoughtseize. Pretty good hand. Marauder with the 3 months, thank you. Grazer, Golgari Rot Farm. So I don't think we can get Delirium here. If we can Graveyard this. Let's keep this on top to try to get Delirium next turn. Explore, Soccer Tri-Builder, Primeval Titan. I think I'm just kind of easily taking the Titan. Is Drown good in the matchup? I think it's good enough. I think it's good enough to play 2 copies of. If this was like a card you wanted to go down to 1 or 0, I think that would be fine. I think this is certainly a tricky matchup to sideboard in. Any way to squeeze Thought Scour to make Drowns better? Nope. Does not seem really reasonable to me. Okay, Handleware Battlements on top. Yeah, I think we are going to be drowning the Soccer Tri-Builder here. Opponent's hand is going to be Handleware Battlements, Soccer Tri-Builder, Forest, Mystery card, I think. Yeah. So we're going to have Delirium. Very important here. Terminate does seem like a pretty good card to hold up. If I'm just holding up Dress Down, Terminate Drown with 2 Delirious Channelers, this seems like a pretty good way to close out this game. Invasive Surgery is for Cascade variants, Living End, Rhinos, Glimpse, and then also Creativity. You can bring it in against Belcher too, but mostly just those 3 matchups. I don't think Azusa is really doing a lot here, but I think if my opponent's 1 mystery card is a bounce land, they can Bajuka Bog me, and I think that I'm just also fine to use this Drown. I don't think it's getting too much better. I am going to keep this land on top so I can try to hold up 2 mana this turn and go Iteration and hold up 2 mana the following turn. Seems fine to me. Okay, so they're gonna gain 2 life, draw 2. Pretty good here. Graveyard the Ragavan. Grief is maybe interesting enough to keep. I think it's interesting enough to keep on top. Or if I can iteration into like land black card, that's gonna be pretty good for me. Need to leave up a blue source. Both Swamp and... or Mountain's not in the deck anymore. Swamp is still in the deck. So you should leave up the Steam Vents. There's a black card. I need a land more than I need a black card, so I'm going to graveyard it. I'm going to graveyard this too, just trying to find that land. Failing to find the land, and I didn't leave up the black cards. I do still get to grief my opponent. I get to put another channeler into play. Kind of unlucky not to find a land in 5 looks, though. My opponent also is top decking. Feels bad that if we had the Dress Down up, we would be pretty resilient to a top deck, though. Dress Down wasn't better. Dress Down to kill the Grixis. What's cool about Dress Down is it just, like, stopping Cultivator Colossus or Titan next turn's trigger, I think, is more important than killing the creature, if that makes... That was my thought, at least. Okay, I think on the draw, I'm, like, a lot less interested in Ragavan. I may even just be, like, on Shredders on the draw. I think that makes sense. Yeah, like, the Dress Down was, like, answered the Hydra Crisis more efficiently, but I thought it was more important to, like, save it for their next threat, right? Have to mulligan this. Opponent's on a 7-card keep. Reasonable hand. Let's try this one. Put back the Grief. I think that one's kind of clear. Vestige. Turn 1 Grazer all 3 games. Turn 1 Grazer all 3 games, baby. Thoughtseize on turn 1 to try to place Dryad is kind of interesting here. Let me Bauble myself. If I have a land on top, I might just Grief. I do have a land on top. Yeah, don't love this. I'll take the Colossus. Don't love this, but I get to go Shredder Bauble turn 2. What's the thoughts behind more Undying cards versus Rebirth in this deck versus Sacrifice version? This is an Expressive Iteration deck, so you just can't afford to play very many lands that tap for black. In the Rakdos versions, that card is, I think, phenomenally good. This version, I don't think it really makes the cut. Like you see here, we have our 1 swamp, and the iteration is just so awkward. Should Murktide be playing Surgery too? It's kind of trickier because, like, Murktide, having like such a huge density of counter spells already, I think needs that kind of effect less than a deck like this does that is lighter on counter magic, but. And then Murktide already kind of innately has good Cascade or creativity matchups, but it's an option. I've played it in the past. It's like reasonable. So gonna bounce the T-West. Should be a little bit of ways away from channeling and casting Titan, though. Definitely have to jam this iteration. I think I'm going to do so off another Steam Vents because I have the Swamp. And then hand bottom, exile. They can pretty easily block the Shredder with the Grazer, so leave this back to block the Dryad. Hopefully they don't top deck Titan. They can transmute their Teleria West, but they won't be able to Titan until next turn if that's all they've got going on. Is Murktide good against creativity? I've been told it is. It's maybe like not as good as people give it credit for. Are we ever? Sorry, I am. You can't turn off the voice command on these phones, and then just I don't know if this happens to you too, but it's just constantly going. I didn't understand that. It's like nobody asked you. Okay, let's keep this. Probably going Steve Vincent to Swamp here. Triumph, very likely creativity. I think. Oh, sorry. I guess we're getting shock. Should have just gotten a Swamp here. But I'm gonna Grief on turn 1 because of Wrenn and 6. Lightning Bolt, Fatal Push, Archon, creativity. I think I'm taking the 2 1-mana removal spells. It's kind of dicey, but I do have Unholy Heat to either answer an Archon. This is Archon is another reason why I'm kind of like back on Heat. But I have to either answer Archon or like the creature that they target. Just having that 4/3 menace on turn 1 is so nice. Ruben seems like a strong card in Asmo. Yeah, maybe. Like again, it's just like what if the Ravens could block, I think that card would be great. But the fact that you're getting all of these Ravens and you're not able to like use them to defend your your slow grindy deck that you have to play when you play the Raven Man, it just makes me so much lower on it. You know, this is kind of a concept that's a bit more abstract, and I don't think we talk about it very often. But a lot of times, there's like cool cards like the Raven Man that have a lot of power to them and are really interesting. And I think Raven Man definitely meets those qualifications of being cool, being interesting, but it's like so easy to just like ignore like the glaring issue with these cards, like just kind of like have some like cognitive dissonance and be like, oh, you get so many ravens, but like, those ravens not being able to block just makes the cards like so obscenely or so much weaker than you would want it to be. It's like a little greedy to to Expressive Iteration here, but I'll try to find a land. We don't find a land yet. Let's go hand, bottom, exile. We could maybe find one off the Shredder Connive. No such luck. That being said, we can heat the Archon, and they also have to have a land. I think their hand is currently Transmogrify, Creativity, Archon. Don't think I'm not gonna heat the crap token since like they just have, it's so easy for them to draw a Dwarven Mine in the top two. But maybe they'll brick. They don't brick. That being said, this is a big part of the reason why I'm back on Unholy Heat again. Told you 3 months to get thank you. Glad you're liking the stream. Yeah, I also love the 8-key deck. Do you prefer the Grixis Erectus version? I definitely like preferring the Grixis version at the moment, but I think it's a big conversation. Okay, I can now cast this iteration. Okay, hand, bottom, exile, cast the Bauble. Let's just discard the Bauble so we have a 2-turn clock. Hopefully don't draw another creativity. Famous last words, I guess. So yeah, I think the biggest thing you lose when you switch to the Grixis over the Rakdos is you lose the ability to Blood Moon your opponents, which is like definitely relevant. Okay, Fatal Push the Shredder. Top deck war. I'm not sure whose top decks are on average better. Probably theirs. Would Inquisition work? No, you need to play Thoughtseize over Inquisition. The Thoughtseizes are for Karn the Great Crater, Primeval Titan, yeah, it's just like so many 4-mana spells are bigger. Heat is kind of nice insurance here. The Bauble is certainly more proactive. Let's go with the Heat. Aries, the Twitch Prime, thank you. Interesting draw. Why are you running Invasive Surgery instead of the harder to counter Fluster or Versatile Spell Pierce? It's unconditional and it gets rid of creativities. All the creativities or all the living ends or all the rhinos out of the deck. And in a deck like this, without that many counter spells, your opponents are like less likely to even like have or go for like Violent Outburst, Force of Negation. Obviously they might sometimes, but I've played plenty of Flusterstorms and Spell Pierces against creativity, and they just have so much mana that it's like very often the case that they are able to just pay. Just pay. And it's much harder for them to pay for a Invasive Surgery. And I also don't really care about versatility. These sideboard cards almost exclusively are just coming in against Cascade or Creativity at the moment. Versatility is overrated when it comes to sideboard cards to some extent. I might not play the Dress Downs, we'll see. I think I definitely don't want the Furies. When I'm cutting Furies, I'm cutting like 2 of these. Kroxa is fine. It's not as good as you'd maybe want it to be. Ragavan is probably actually pretty bad on the draw. Yeah, I think I'm not going to play the Dress Downs. Kind of slow, hard to hold up. Think of it too reactive. Those of you working in a scrap crawler type combo deck, I have one. It's not. It's missing some stuff though. It's like not quite there. Moon's worth it for mine. I think that we have enough like reactive cards. So usually I'll judge it by like if you want moons, based on how many reactive cards you have. And we have like 4 Unholy Heat. We have the Invasive Surgeries. We have I guess I don't know if you're supposed to count. You have Drawn Loch obviously, but I'm not sure if you're supposed to count the discard spells as being, or the Voidwalkers and the discard spells as being reactive necessarily, but I think with the density of reactive spells that we have, the Alpine Moons are like a little bit extra, but it just kind of depends. Like we have like 5 or 6 like reasonable cards to have over here, like the Ragavans, the Terminates, the Alpine Moons, Okay, let's take that creativity. Transmogrify definitely a lot easier to play around. Wouldn't Blood Sun also work versus mine, or is Blood Sun just all activated abilities? Blood Sun subs mine, yeah. You don't want to play it in a deck with fetch lands, but it does work. I built the Mansolar list struggling with what to sideboard. Do you have a sideboard anywhere? I do. I have a sideboard guide on Channel Fireball, CFB Pro. I don't think I'm supposed to grief the Transmogrify, and Holy Heat does counter it pretty well, though I guess I don't currently have Delirium to get rid of the crab token. I'll get it though. But I forgot to play their land. It's Evoke. And just 2 lands. So I think what I'm going to do is go attack the Ren 6 and then play Channeler with Steam Vents up, and then when they go ping the Channeler, I can try to Unholy Heat the crab token, and I'll get Delirium in response. Doc, 3 months. Think this deck will get an article? Not anytime soon, since like Dominaria is coming out, so I'm kind of just trying to focus on that for the articles. But we'll see. We'll see. I can keep a Shredder. No Delirium though. If that gave me Delirium, I would graveyard it. So now we could choose to play Ren 6 if we wanted to, which I think is maybe correct, to go like Shredder, cast Ren 6, connive away the Ragavan, have a steady stream of cards to discard here. I also get the Surveil. Grief is interesting. I think it's a little slow here. If I had a black card, I guess there's no way I could like pitch though. Yeah. Good connive fodder, I guess. Let's actually shock on the Steam Vents. I think there's a good chance that my opponent draws like Transmogrifier Creativity though, wait a turn with me fetch shocking and untap blue source. It's kind of hard for them to wait though, is the problem. Because it's not getting much better for them. Okay, another Ren 6, not doing too much here. Probably ignoring the Red in this game. Might be pinging them. Interesting draw too. 9, 5, 4. I think I'm just attacking them, pinging them. Hoping they don't find a creativity. I could go like dash Ragavan and then and then let the Ragavan come back to my hand, Undying Malice, and then I would get one Connive that could maybe find me exactly Invasive Surgery. But I think that maybe just holding up the Undying Malice to like undie the Ledger Shredder and hope to draw Unholy Heat if they do creativity is fine too, and if they double spell I can connive away the Ragavan. Yeah, I guess I could go Ragavan, Undying Malice, ping on Ragavan or something. Okay, they just don't have it. Cool. 2-1. Alright, I'm probably gonna mulligan the No-Lander. We're up against a Yorion deck. So let the salt flow in the chat, probably. Let's put back the basic mountain. I think that's fine. I'll be playing this all day. We'll see. Whenever someone asks that in chat, I'm always like, oh, they must hate the deck we're playing today. We'll see though. I might be pivoting to like 8 key, but you know we're also like in the last 3 days before Dominaria United. So like I think I said this earlier, but I may be taking tomorrow off to work on some Channel Fireball content and build decks, and then try to do longer streams once the Dominaria United decks are out later this week. So you might be wondering why I played Channeler over Ragavan there, and it's because against Red and 6 decks, I usually like to be able to play Channeler turn 1 and then dash Ragavan to be able to kill Red and 6 on turn 2. Tech for Bossum. Grixis aggro. Okay, hold on, let me go Evoke, Malakir, Rebirth, Connive, see what we draw. Aggro is probably not the most accurate description of this deck. That's fine. Not every description needs to be super accurate, I guess. I could maybe have discarded the Grief. We are just one land away from hard casting it. So I don't love splashing black in the Murktide deck for the discard spells. I also think 6 discard spells is probably a bit too many. Maybe just 4 Thoughtseize would be a bit more reasonable. You get Eldarmer's Call for Solitude, okay. Do you have Ephemerate? No. Because I don't love needing red, black, and blue mana spells on turn 1, and also having the double blue Murktide Regent and the double blue counter spell. I think it does tax your mana to a pretty undesirable degree. They do have the Ephemerate. That being said, I would play the 4th counter spell over the 1st drown, or if you're going to play drowns, you can play like 4 Thoughtseize, 2 drown, no Inquisitions. I also, you know, if I'm going to play discard spells in a deck like this, I think I'm a bit more a bit more likely in, let me concede, I'm a bit more likely to want to play more copies of Ledger Shredder to loot away those dead Thoughtseize in the mid to late game, which is kind of interesting too. Okay, so let's bring in the Dauthi Voidwalkers. They're on their Risen reversion, so maybe I won't dress down. Don't think I need the Terminates because I have the full 4 Unholy Heats. I have the, I have the Griefs, so like Thoughtseize is also not like a mandatory card. I like the Voidwalkers a lot. I don't know that, you know, we need to reinvent the wheel too much with our sideboard plan. Let's submit this. I mean, can you guys just divorce Snapcaster Mage already? It's just like the one of Snapcaster Mage of the sideboard. It shouldn't be there. It's just there because you like Snapcaster Mage. It's the literally the only reason you spent $200 on a playset 8 years ago, and you're like, I gotta get that money worth, you know. Just also like the Kolaghan Screen on the sideboard. It's fine, but it's also like. Yeah, mulligating on the play twice in a row against Omnath is so rough. It's just... It's just time to move on. I also spend a lot of money on Snapcaster Mages. It's just time to move on, chat. It is still somewhat playable. You can play them like the control variants, a few other friend strategies, but it never goes like... It never should just be like chilling in the sideboard like this. Yeah, mulling on the play twice in a row is just so tough in this matchup. I mean, the rest of the sideboard is fine. It's just like... splashing black and... Like, I think that maybe the main reason to splash black in this list is also Terminate. You can maybe play Terminates over Drowns and just like be okay with your mana being generally not great. Okay, so let's go... Probably get Mountain. Dash Ragavan, Heat the Wrenn and 6, Connive, kill the Wrenn and 6, Connive this away. I guess we're casting the Channeler too. Unless we find abundant growth. Sell me on Grixis. What does it do better than Black-Red? I was kind of... I don't love the comments. Spike, sell me on this. Because, I mean, that's like what I'm doing with the whole stream, you know. And I put the list together. You can formulate your own opinions on them. But what this deck is doing better than Grixis is having a lower mana curve, putting much earlier pressure, having higher card quality than the Rakdos version of this deck is what this deck is doing better. And what's doing worse is... not getting to play Blood Moon. But I've been really impressed with this version so far. But it is, you know, like any of like, you know, mid-range variants. It's always a conversation and you are free to come to your own conclusions. Okay, Omnath. They didn't have an Evoke Incarnation earlier, so hopefully they haven't drawn one. There's a good chance we can get Delirium after we go Ragavan, Heat, Connive, Surveil. I guess we need 2 card types though. Let's get 2 card types. Failed to do so. We can still offer the trade of Ragavan for Omnath, which they probably just go down to 3, and hopefully they're playing Lightning Bolt, huh? They're playing Ephemerate. Do I want... I guess I'll Ephemerate just to try to get Delirium, and I'll leave the... I want the Ragavan to come back to my hand, though, so that I can continue to connive. Brutal. Shout out to Fatal Push, I guess. Fatal Push sends its regards. Why do decks seem to 5-0? MTGO never seem to hit top 8 on paper. Is it because chumps like me playing paper? I mean, this is a very vague, open-ended question that you're asking, but the reality is that a lot of people that play decks in leagues don't play weekend challenges tournaments. A lot of people that do play more experimental stuff in leagues tend to play something a bit safer in tournaments. And it's also true, like, the wilder stuff is also just has always been in any Magic format ever. The more oddball stuff is just like not as represented. If we find Delirium here, we're somehow presenting lethal. Is this one's triggered? Still no Delirium. Feels bad. Putting my opponent down to 1 if this connects. I released like a 30-minute long YouTube video over the weekend talking about the cards from Dominaria I like. You can go to the channel, find out. I think exclamation point Dom? DMU? Exclamation point DMU is a link to the video also. Fairy's pretty good. Need to keep this to escape the Kroxa, I think. I still don't have Delirium after 2 more Connives, though. This is so unfortunate. 21 cards, just like no... no Bauble, no Sorcery. I guess I don't have that many Sorceries, huh? Opponent's going up to 8 life now. Yeah, what a scam, huh? But discards Rin 6. I don't know if I'm supposed to kill Teferi or not. I think I'll kill the Teferi. Mostly out of hate. Mostly out of hate. We're doing better than I thought we'd be doing. After them getting to have so many Omnath triggers, though. Are the Undying cards better than Ephemerate or Splash too much? The Splash for the 4th color is too much, but they're not better than Ephemerate, no. Okay, so they get Solitude. Are they just going to hardcast Solitude, exile Kroxa? They also don't have a fetch land this turn. Imagine Kroxa's getting the axe here. Okay, Iteration in the yard gives me Delirium. But is it better to Iteration into Fury? I think probably is, yeah. Winning this game would be awesome, by the way. That's an interesting... That's a really good draw, actually. So we could just find a red card off this iteration. We get to kill the Omnath, and then... Ooh. Okay. I'm going to try to find a red card in the next 2, and then pitch, and then Undying Malice. I think they're looking at my graveyard for Delirium. Maybe they have Endurance. I do find the red card, so we'll go red card hand, bottom... Exile. I'm not going to be able to hold up the Drown, unfortunately, but I think this is certainly worth it. Oh, but if they do have the Fury... If they do have the Fury, this is not as awesome. Or so the Endurance, not the Endurance, not the Fury. No Endurance, let's go. I don't think Leyline Binding is going to be very good in Pioneer without fetch lands, but I could be wrong. I mean, maybe it's good. I don't know. Like, the removal in Pioneer is certainly lacking, and it's a hard card to remove, maybe. Am I not excited for Infinite Lotus in my 8-key? Oh, dude, the Lotus in 8-key! Yeah, Lotus... I mean, I don't know if it's just a Karn target, though. But yeah, the Lotus does seem pretty good in 8-key. I don't know how I missed that. Good catch, good catch. I just kind of, like, looked at the Lotus, I guess, and was like, this isn't a modern card. Maybe oh, no, but, like, is it going to be better than Paradox Engine? It's 5 mana, so, like, to cast you already have to have mana. I don't know. Yeah, the 5-color Lotus. Lotus plus Golos. Yeah, maybe one day. Feels like we'll be in kind of deep. We won that game. That was awesome. I mean, this deck is really powerful. This deck is definitely really powerful. Yeah, that game goes... Yeah, you know, this is kind of like the whole, like, Spike, sell me on Grixis. You know, just watch the stream, formulate your own opinions. I really like this version. It's obviously a conversation still. Recommend this deck over Shadow or Murktide? I would recommend it over Shadow for sure. I think Murktide has a pretty different matchup spread, or that maybe not that different, but somewhat different. So yeah, I think I'm still going to do what I'd like to do in this matchup, or against Rin 6, which is play the Channeler so I could dash. Maybe that's playing a bit too scared, especially when I have the Heat. I think I'd rather save the Heat, though. Is this deck favorable versus Clemps? I mean, you have a bunch of discard and you have a bunch of invasive surgeries in the sideboard, so it's probably not too bad. Yeah, I think all of the blue cards in this deck are nuts, and like they're cards that I would be loving to play in the Rakdos version, which I think is a really good, you know, pitch for playing this version over the Rakdos variant. We'll keep the land. I think I'm conniving away with another Shredder. Maybe Ragavan at this point. Yeah, probably Ragavan. Yeah, it's just like all of the blue cards I'm playing, I would love to be playing in Rakdos. The mana is really good. It's really smooth. Your curve is a lot lower, and I really love not playing a lot of 3-drops when I'm going in on the Grief Fury plan, since like a lot of times you just get a head on board really quickly, and you want to have that added pressure, you know. So they have Ephemerate. They pitched the Omnath. No Ephemerate, just 2 for winning themselves to kill the Shredder. They pitched an Omnath, very likely to have another Omnath, I suppose. There's a Reef. Would love to draw an Undying effect here. Another Heat is fine, though. So let's go Steam Vents. Shredder Heat. And then this is Delirium. Probably, and then also like being able to, let's keep this. Being able to connive away like dead Greaves, dead Furies in your hand is you know, dead Malakir Rebirths and Dying Evils is just also nuts, and like the curve is so low. I think this version is very interesting for sure. Okay, Prismatic Ending, but no second mana, so they're just getting rid of the Channeler. I'm getting ready to get the Ragavan. What's the origin thing? Grixis Rebrand me. This stream is the origin. You can Spire on Fable dead cards in Rakdos? That's true, yeah. That's true. Oh, good point. They missed their 4th land drop. What did we lose? We lost to Titan. We lost to Titan. Which is definitely, like, you know, losing the Blood Moon effects definitely, I think, hurt. Ooh, boy. You know, what doesn't hurt is Expressive Iteration. I feel like there are a million Undying effects available. Hard to narrow down the best. I think that it's the ones we're playing, Undying Malice, Feign Death, are exactly the same card. But you don't want to play Undying Evil because it doesn't work with creatures that have counters on it. So Ledger Shredder or something that you Undying Malice. They grab Solitude, down to just 2 cards in their hand. I've got Expressive Iteration, I got a Draw Step, got Channeler, feeling pretty good. So I guess I will tap like this. Have all my colors after I play the Swamp potentially. Graveyard the 4th Unholy Heat. And no action. No action. Oh, whoops. I thought I was like selling the Scalding Tarn. Okay, so now I don't have Undying Malice up. Let's see how much that costs me. I guess I could have played Swamp to have the Undying Malice up. But then like playing the Steam Vents is good so I can hardcast Fury. But if they have, you know, exactly Lightning Bolt or Fury, this gets bad. Three cards in their hand. None of them are lands. I'm probably not supposed to heat this very super aggressively. I'm just flooding out though. And then I guess heating this lets me save the Channeler with Undying Malice potentially. Lets me connive into not another land. Not another land. Okay, Written 6 is going to give them the flow of land drops they've been missing. That being said, if we could just draw like Grief, Drown and Loch, or yeah, I guess I don't have Thoughtseize, but just anything to interact with them for one turn, attack with the 3/3 twice, we should be in good shape. Undying Malice not doing very much. Guess it makes Grief a better draw. Problem is my opponent just has so many spells in their hand because they've been missing land drops. I'm not sure what we're really beating here. Probably not beating a opponent who is fetching end of turn, going down to 3. I guess we're beating, you know, not, you know, damage based removal. We're also beating nothing. How do they have nothing? They have been missing all their land drops. Like, literally, how do they have nothing there? Morning Dew. What do you think about the Obosh list that won the prelim yesterday? I didn't see it. I don't. You know, usually like people in chat come and show me interesting deck lists. I guess like what you're doing now, and so I don't like very often dig through the dumps. Dude, we've had so many no-landers, and we've also had a lot of mana floods today, so I think I'm pretty happy to be doing as well as we're doing right now. I'm gonna keep this, obviously. I think I'm putting back the channeler. I literally can't imagine like what 4 spells they can have in their hand there. Happy Monday, guy. I think we're to 35 months. It's a long ass time. Okay, more creativity. Can we? I really want to invasive surgery them. Let's take their 1 mana spells, I think. Especially that hard evidence when I've got Ragavan here. Thank you, Doom. The deck that won the PTQ. Yeah, I didn't see it. I was recording the Dive Down podcast last night, working on articles and watching the new House of the Dragon episode. Looks like oh, it's Splashing Black. Fury, Ragavan, Inquisition, Thoughtseize. I cannot get behind 4 Inquisition, 2 Thoughtseize in this format, but the rest of this looks pretty interesting. Oh yeah, we can get a 4-1 prediction. Hold on. Kind of late, but whatever. This looks pretty cool. People at Energy were so ready for creativity. Hallowed Moonlight Hammer, awesome. Kind of weird that they wouldn't play Containment Priest instead. Although I guess Moonlight's better against Living End, huh? Okay, I'm gonna Lightning Bolt them. That was the 5-0 3-3 split prelim. Yeah, I want to see 4-2. I mean, there's just like Fury, Grief, Solitude, Omnath, Murktide, Regions, Primeval Titan, Karn the Great Creator, and Burn is just not that common. Dog Javin, 7 months, thank you. It's a cool list though, very Hayashi style. Oh, Moonlight stops Rhinos? Okay, that is actually pretty interesting. Do you know when Red Black Sack article is going to be out? So I don't. I have noticed that they're not, they haven't been posting the articles I've been putting up, but I think that's because there's like the big transition to TCG player. So I kind of feel like they're stockpiling for like a big dump when we move over, but I'm not 100% sure. Javins the 7 months, appreciate you. I should probably ask, huh? Kind of surprised to only see 4 Bloodstained Mires in a red-black Blood Moon deck. I think you could play the fetch a basic fetch land just to get your 1 of Swamp more often, but maybe that's not as needed. 1 of Kolagon's Command, huh? 1 Shriek Maw. I love the Shriek Maw actually. It's a good way to answer Murktide without needing to lose Obosh for Terminate. Cool list, cool list. Yeah, no Moonlight stops living in. No Moonlight stops living in. Okay, up a game. Can we please draw an Invasive Surgery? Yeah, so sideboarding in this matchup is definitely tricky. Why do people play Inquisition for Thoughtseize? Yeah, you shouldn't. You shouldn't, especially in a deck like that with like a relatively painless mana base. But there's just so many cards that Thoughtseize hits that Inquisition misses. It's crazy. It's like crazy the amount of like super relevant cards. Specific Murktide is one of the most relevant one. It's like Murktide, Cauldron, Omnath, Solitude, Fury, Grief, Karn the Great Creator, all the Tron big payoffs, Primeval Titan, Goblin Charbelcher. It's just like so many situations that like Inquisition is worse than your Thoughtseize. Okay, so on the draw, I think I'm going down to like 2 or 1 Ragavan. I like it a lot more on the play, but they're a hard evidence deck. I'm cutting all the Furies. I'm cutting like 3 Undying effects, I think. Maybe just go down to 1 Ragavan. Ragavan sucks in this matchup. On the draw, it's okay on the play. And then I think last time I was playing 1 more Undying effect. I think I'm gonna get down to 4 if I'm just off the Furies altogether. And I could play the first Moon. I know I cut them last time. I think 1 Moon's fine. Yeah, Dress Down's fine. Terminate's fine. I think I'll do something like 1 Terminate and play just 1 more Undying effect. I think Invasive Surgery is good in Grixis Shadow over Spell Pierce Flusterstorm. I think with Blue-White Control being like relatively unpopular at the moment, yes. Is there anywhere where we just add Shadow to list? Someone said that they had been doing that, and it was like they were playing like Shadow over DRC. I don't love. I mean, if you do that, then you could consider cutting Shredder and Bauble also, and because like I feel like if you're playing Bauble, you're gonna play Shredder and DRC in this list, if that makes sense. Don't want to play just one. This thing's kind of slow. I probably have to keep. They might be on Titan with the new Niatron. Maybe. Good catch. Okay, so no discard for us. Sam, thank you for the 7 months. Appreciate you. Welcome back. Okay, very good draw. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to Unholy Heat a Renin 6 here, so I'll just play this tapped. Is Despise a card we can consider alongside Thoughtseize and Inquisition? That's probably a little lost in the sauce, to be honest. The guy who won in Monterey Prison Discord started with that, but said that Prison is not good enough currently. Yeah, currently, for sure. Just kidding, Prison players, I'm sorry. Prison has always been a good deck, actually. And I would describe myself as a jealous hater of the very charismatic and handsome mono-red Prison players. How about RCQ on Saturday? Not well. Yeah, I did lose to. I got merfolked by the winner of the tournament, so maybe that's all right, Ham. All right, can't bubble them. Yeah, I've played against this merfolk player who's in the chat now. You know, we're like old veterans of grinding the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I've been merfolked many times by Sherwin, many times. Went 3-1 with 8 key, lost to the deck, maybe beat me in mulligans. I feel like that sentence is missing a word, but I've been wanting to play some 8 key lately. Oh, they exiled Lightning Bolt. This is not going to work out well for them. This is not going to work out well for them. I had a spot where I was playing Rakdos midrange against. I mean, Voidwalkering. If I Voidwalker their Archon, it's not even that good because they have the Leyline in play. But I was playing Rakdos midrange against. I'm trying to think what was the matchup? Sorry, Rakdos midrange against Murktide, and they had Ledger Shredder in play. I had a 4/3 Turok, and they cast Ledger Shredder, then cast Lightning Bolt on the Turok, but then because they connived, I was able to. I guess I'm holding up this now because they connived. I was able to grow the Turok to 5/4 and keep the Turok around. Lost a deck that was made to beat me in mulligans. I see. So probably a Karn, the Great Critter deck, huh? Do you have a build of Murktide? How did I build it on the stream decker? I haven't played Murktide in like maybe like this whole season or almost this whole season. I played a lot of it during the trophy race. Obviously, it's a good deck. We have a lot of reps with it, but Murktide is like definitely the deck that like so many other streamers play it at the moment or have been for like the last several months that. There's just like Mengucci recently updated the deck guide. Everos plays a lot of the deck. Young Dingo plays a lot of it. Ginger, I mean Ginger's kind of hasn't been playing as much modern lately, I guess. But just like so many other good streamers are playing the archetype that I guess I've been a little less interested in working on it. I'm gonna drown here. I think that it's very likely I lose this fight, but I think I just want to use the mana. Do get to connive though. I think I want to discard a shredder here so that I have delirium, and then I'm going to surveil Grief to the graveyard because they have Leyline of Sanctity in play. So trying to save Unholy Heat for a Archon makes some sense. Yeah, I think what I'm supposed to do this turn is go Ledger Shredder, Voidwalker, Connive, be able to block the Goblin Shaman in combat. Let's prioritize +1 counters here, attack my opponent for 7, pass back. Okay, discard Blood Crypt and Fable of the Mirror Breaker. If they have creativity, fetch land, they can put 2 Archons into play. This does open the door for creativity too. Yeah, that's true. But then the problem with trying to play around that is if we heat, they still get to creativity X=1, and then we don't have the heat anymore. So this at least beats like creativity with no fetch land or transmogrify. It looks like they have it. Which is bad, especially because they have the ley line, so even if I'm able to steal one of their Archons, I don't get the triggers. Did I see Aethersworn Sphinx top-8'd the Premier? I did not know. Can you post a list? I'm super interested. I was really liking the Aethersworn Sphinx Affinity deck we were playing last week, 2 weeks ago. Like, I don't know why I stopped playing it either. I kind of wanted to do another stream with it. Surely they don't have creativity though, right? Surely this... I mean, but why would they fetch a Dwarf token if they didn't have it? Maybe they're thinking of the perfect one-liner. The perfect one-liner before they cast this creativity. Which day is the cooking stream? Wednesday. Should be... the boxes should be delivered Tuesday. And then we're going to try to do the cooking stream Wednesday when the Magic Online maintenance is happening. And then just be back to the normal content Thursday. So it's kind of a perfect time. I just also can never draw Invasive Surgery in this matchup. I've got 3 of them. Tomorrow no stream. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. So it kind of depends, I guess, on how productive I am tonight. But... Like one, I'm a little less interested in like spending a ton of energy streaming on Tuesday when we're about to get new cards on like Wednesday, Thursday, and it might just be good to like, you know, work on Decklist, work on Channel Fireball stuff on Tuesday, and then like Thursday, Friday, do like 10-hour streams, 12-hour streams or something. Prismari command the Voidwalker into creativity X=1, it looks like. Not realizing that Leyline gives them so much protection here, I guess. And we get to keep this heat in our hand, which is huge. Although I guess we haven't seen Archon yet. They could be on Titan still. So I should probably just prioritize discarding any spell here because I'm going to be keeping the heat in hand basically no matter what. Is the whole Wednesday stream going to be cooking or be playing MTG when downtime's over? I think that... So I will play MTG when downtime's over if we can get our hands on cards from the new set. And that I think depends on if we have access to the deck builders toolkit thing that gives you access to the commons and uncommons from the new set. And I can't remember if they gave us that for Streets of New Capenna, but I remember for Kamigawa, like they had stopped doing like the thing where you can just buy a playset of the new cards immediately. Oh, but what you could do last time was you could register a new Magic Online account for $10, and then you would get one of every common and uncommon from the new set immediately. And so that's what I did last time. Was I spent $40 to get all the commons and uncommons from Kamigawa, I think, or maybe I did that for Capenna, one of those two sets. So weird, and I don't want to be live without the new cards. Grandma Sauce, 4 months. Thank you. Okay, 4-1.league. Let's run it back. I'm feeling.